Hey everyone, welcome to Mountain Beast Mysteries. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some really interesting photographs of some Bigfoot tracks that were sent to me. And it's actually quite a substantial collection of Bigfoot tracks. There's also been some tree structures that were found in the same area, so I'm going to show you guys photos of that as well. I'm not allowed to share any of the information as to where exactly this was. I'm just going to say it's in the States. It's not in Canada, it's in the United States. I also can't say who the individual was who took them. I mean, there is a chance that some of you watching know who the individual is and have seen these photos already, and that's fine. But I'll ask you guys to please, if you do know who the person is and where these tracks are found, don't say anything. Before we get into the video, I'd like to say that the Bigfoot Quest for the Wildman documentary series is live. We had a huge donation from Rob W, so shout out to you, Rob. Thank you very much for your substantial donation, bringing us over halfway. We're going to be fully funded, I'm sure, by the time spring comes. And hopefully spring comes soon, because today I woke up and it was minus 34 outside here in Alberta. We're having like a crazy cold spell, and it's seriously cold outside. I do not want to be out there at all. But yeah, if you're still interested in donating to the project, there is the link down below to the GoFundMe. There's also a PayPal link on the main YouTube channel page, and there's Patreon, and also the Spreadshirt t-shirt shop if you're interested in getting some Mountain Beast Mysteries merchandise. So, these Bigfoot tracks, I want to know mainly what you guys think of them. I'm going to play kind of like a slideshow of all the photographs of the tracks and these little tree structures, and I want to know what you guys think. I mean, it's my personal belief, based on interacting with this gentleman and communicating with him, that he's trustworthy and he's telling the truth, or he's telling what he actually believes. I don't think he's hoaxing anything. He is a highly skilled outdoorsman. He spent the majority of his life in Alaska. He grew up in Alaska. He ran trap lines his whole life. He actually worked as a guide for a bit. So he's very familiar with the wilderness and with basically any animal you could imagine encountering out in the North American wilderness. So he knows his footprints, he knows his sounds, he knows the woods, essentially. But I do find it interesting that, you have these tracks found in the same spot where these structures are. A lot of the tracks are actually found in the snow, which makes you think, what are these people doing walking around barefoot in the snow? And there's actually been some anecdotes from the area as well involving actual visual sightings of the creature. A lot of this stuff happens at night, and it has been reported that these creatures in the spot do have that classic glowing red eyes thing going on. I don't know what that is, but you do hear a lot of reports of that, these Sasquatch creatures at night having their eyes either glowing red, you'll hear, or reflecting light back in a way that looks like, they have red eyes. And not just one creature either. In some of these stories, there's two. And there's also been some very strange sounds and grunts and just weird noises that you don't usually hear, that don't really match up with any other wildlife in the area. But anyways, that's all I'm going to say for now. I want you guys to watch this little slideshow. So what do you guys think about these tracks? Kind of interesting, eh? Some of them look like your typical Bigfoot track. In fact, a lot of them do. The stride in some of them is like very long. And then you also have these weird tree structures, and they're not like the tree structures you see at the Nordig site here in Alberta, like with the big massive logs all woven together, or the floating horizontal logs. They're made of smaller bits of material, sticks, and I find it very interesting, the ones that are made mostly of bark that was peeled off of trees. You don't see a lot of structures like that. You know, they're kind of arranged in like a shingle pattern that you'd see on a roof. And stuff like that you kind of have to question and wonder, like, was it made by a person, like an actual shelter? And some of these structures aren't very big, but they sprawl out, you know, quite significantly. So, like, say there was just tree structures in the area, the ones you see in the photographs, say you just found those, you'd probably be led to believe that people made them more. It's just kids playing in the woods building these forts, which is something that's like very possible. But then you take into account all the tracks that were left behind, and some of the tracks were apparently like 18 inches long. Like, that's a huge footprint. Take into account the tracks, take into account the structures, and then also the eyewitness reports of actually seeing a Sasquatch. And then you have an interesting case, right? So it could be a really good spot, you know, if these creatures are being seen there and these footprints are being found, and there's actual track casts that have been made from this area, which is very cool. I think track casts are the ultimate form of Bigfoot evidence, you know, other than like very clear high resolution video. That's my goal, is to get that 4K video, 6K video if I can get the camera. But track cast is something you can make if you find a good enough track, and you can bring that evidence home and you can share it. You know, it's something physical you can bring home. It is trace evidence, but it's better than just photographs, which is really cool. So I would like to find some track casts as well. I would like to find tracks that were good enough to cast, you know, in sand or mud, and not in like moss or snow like the other tracks that I think were Bigfoot tracks. Yeah, that would be the jackpot for sure. Like I said, I believe this person's probably telling the truth, or he genuinely believes, you know, what he's seeing is Bigfoot. I don't think he's hoaxing anything. I don't think he's making anything up. So that's just what I believe based on my communications with the person. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I would like to know what you guys think. You know, this is very interesting because, like, it's not just finding one or two tracks here either. It's like actual trackways that go on for a significant distance. You know, the stuff that I found that you'd find, I mean, in the winter we found a trackway that was quite long, going through a fence or over a fence and then past the guy's house. And I have images. You can see this still shot here of one of those tracks, and then the actual trackway. You can see there's like left and right footprints. Usually you don't find trackways like that. You'll just find like a few tracks here and there, and they'll just fade out, which is very odd. But a lot of these trackways that have been found have been quite long, which is really interesting. I don't know, it's just one of those cool reports that you hear where all the elements come together. You know, you get the tracks, you get the visual sightings, you get the structures, everything's there. I'm jealous that some people have these like locations where all this stuff is going on all the time. You know, very good, you know, research areas where you could potentially actually snag that, you know, that 4K video clip of the creature. So one day, hopefully, I will get that. But like I said, the Bigfoot Quest for the Wildman documentary series is live on GoFundMe. We're over halfway there. Shout out to Rob W for your massive donation the other day. It really means a lot and really helps out. You brought us, you know, over that halfway mark. So thank you very much. And thank you to everybody who plans on donating in the future. Links are down below. Thanks for watching this episode of Mountain Beast Mysteries. We'll see you next time.